And everybody who's jumped on the bandwagon for the last 3 days, either way, whether you're saying I stand with Palestine or I stand with Israel or whatever you believe, okay, you're being played by another operation that has been executed. And I'm going to explain why I think that is too. Okay, you're being manipulated. And at some point in time, we have to get smart enough to not allow ourselves to be manipulated. Does that mean that these people are not dying over there? No, they're absolutely being killed. But let's examine the situation from a 10,000 foot view. Over the last 4 years, we've had the World Economic Forum run by George Soros and a bunch of other assholes doing all this crazy shit in the world, okay? Literally talking about how they're going to take away our freedoms and we're going to own nothing and be happy. And they're promoting all of these things like ESG, DEI, CEI, all of this corporate programming. All right. They're running all this propaganda. The data around COVID has been completely shattered. They lied. It was a lie. And it was global. It was crimes against humanity. People died. People had to watch their loved ones die over Zoom. They lost their businesses. They lost their livelihoods. They stole the money from the middle class and pushed all these people into poverty. And who did it? Who did it? The global elite class, okay? And a lot of these people happen to be Jewish, all right? So over the and by the way, I'm going to go somewhere with that. So I don't want to hear no bullshit.
Yeah, just wait on that.
Yeah. These people, just like I say all the time, these people hide behind the regular Jewish population who are good people, who are normal people, who go about their daily life like all of us go about our daily life, and they escape criticism or scrutiny by saying it's anti-Semitic to say, hey, what you're doing is wrong. That is not anti-Semitic. Okay, so we have that happening, and this is an important piece to what I'm going to get to. Then we have, over the last 2 months, what's happened with Elon Musk and the ADL.
Oh, man.
Okay,
They've been going at it.
Right. So we have all of this anti-Jewish, quote unquote, anti-Semitism kind of bubbling up, right? And the ADL is getting destroyed. They're losing their power, their protection system of saying that's anti-Semitic, because people are like, well, no, I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm saying you're a piece of shit. I'm not saying all Jewish people. Right. And so they're losing control of the power narrative, right? Follow what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So people are starting to understand there's a small group of very rich, very powerful people. Most of them happen to be Jewish, who are doing things against the world that are fucking up the world. And most people are starting to understand that. Now, most people aren't saying it's the Jews. Now, a lot of people on the far right and who are crazy out, they will say that. That's not actually what it is. No. What it actually is it's just some rich, evil fucks who happen to be Jewish, who use anti-Semitism as their protection of how you can't call them out for the evil shit they do.
We saw this in other areas, right? We saw this with the trans movement. We saw pedophiles hiding under that umbrella for protection. We saw
protected class identity politics.
BLM did the exact same thing, man. The BLM movement, man, the amount of money that they were able to steal and hide under, well, you call it you're racist.
It's listen, dude, the racial movement here in America amongst BLM was the exact same play. If you criticized during that time anybody who was black, what did they call you?
You're racist.
Okay. Yep. So now they run the same play with the Jewish population.
Yep.
Okay.
Anti-Semitic.
Right. So we have to understand that's what's been going on. Okay. So they're losing their grip. They're losing their power. They're losing their this. And all the while, now keep in mind, all of these millions of migrants are coming across the border. Millions and millions and millions as this is happening over the last 3 years. And I have said, I don't know how many times, that these are military-age males who are coming here to actually fight on American soil. And everybody's like, oh, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy. Okay, well, let's unroll this a little bit more. So now we have a situation where Israel, all right, who, by the way, is known to have the most elite level intelligence in the entire world. That's what they are known for. They're not known for the most powerful military. They're known for having all the information, all right? Israel's border and perimeter is heavily armed and heavily guarded. And over the course of the last 30 years, these people have bragged about if a cockroach comes to their border, they're going to know about it. And you have IDF agents from Israel sitting in front of computer screens watching every square inch around that country at all times for the last 30 years. Okay, these are facts. All right. Now, we're expected to believe, and by the way, there's an IDF agent on the internet right now who's blowing the whistle about what I'm saying. So we're expected to believe that a bunch of quote unquote Stone Age savages, okay?
Bro, they're fucking paragliders.
All right. Put together some fans and some parachutes and some machine guns and flew over this armed tower and wall that they call what?
Iron Dome.
The Iron Dome. It's impenetrable.
Yeah.
Okay, so these guys threw their fucking lawnmowers on their back in a parachute and rode across the most secure border in the history of humankind. All right?
Yeah. So
that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I'm not buying that. All right? And I don't think anybody else should either.
No.
All right? So we have to assume that there was only one reason that they were able to get in. And the reason is they were allowed to get in. All right? So they allowed these people to come in, and these people slaughter their own people. Okay? The Palestinians fly over on their lawnmowers and slaughter all these innocent men, women, and children. Innocent people. Good people.
Yeah.
Okay? While the Israeli government watches it happen. All right? Now, as we're recording this show, the Israeli government is carpet bombing and strategic striking all different locations all through Gaza, killing who knows how many men, women, and children.
Yeah, these pictures are from Gaza.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Hamas has told Israel, this just came out about an hour ago, that for every single unannounced airstrike, they will execute publicly on the internet one of these hostages, which they've taken thousands of people hostage. So if you notice what was going on over the weekend, these people weren't just slaughtering people. Yes, that was happening. Yeah. But they were also kidnapping people. All right? And it's very, very disturbing videos to watch.
Yeah, it's all over the internet.
Right. So it's horrible shit. So they pull these people, and I was wondering, like, what are they doing with these people? Mm-hmm. Well, now I figured it out. They pulled these people as their leverage against the Israeli government, knowing that the Israeli government was going to attack them this way.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to get real ugly. Now, that's where we stand right now. So why? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Well, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, you're free to disagree with it, because I'm America first, bro. I care about all those people I listed here. Whatever the fuck they do over there, I really don't give a shit. That is not our business. We have our own problems. We need to fix those first. When we get those fixed, then we can care about other things over there. Yeah. But here's the problem. What have I been saying was going to happen before the election? I've been saying it was going to be one of two things, and what have they been?
A war, or another war,
a world war,
pandemic,
or another pandemic,
or both.
Okay, so now we're in a situation where our strategic oil reserves are down to zero, according to that chart that we looked at 17 days ago that said we had 17 days left. So we have no strategic oil reserves, and we have this situation happening in Israel. Okay, we have this other situation happening in Ukraine, and then we have this other situation happening in Taiwan with China. All right. Now, we've sent all our weapons to Ukraine to the point where we have weapon shortages, and we've sent a ton of money and depleted our oil reserves to literally nothing. Strategic oil reserves, which are strategic oil reserves for this exact reason. All right. So now we have, and by the way, let's not forget the massive amount of military equipment that we left in Afghanistan.
You mean like the ones that they're using in?
Correct, which has now been shipped to the Middle East. All right. So we have all these things. Now, a month ago, Joe Biden sends Iran $6 billion. And then all of a sudden, a month later, we have Iran actually admitting that they've funded Hamas and given Hamas the weapons to do what they're doing. So understand that. This is a key point. All right. Now, back to the border. You have how many Hamas terrorists have entered into the United States over the last 3 years?
We don't know.
We do not know.
I have no idea.
Because a lot of you guys with your bleeding heart bullshit have advocated for allowing these migrants to come across, while people like me have said, don't do that. Don't do that. You don't know who those people are. These are military-age males, and I'm not the only one saying it. Lots of people have said it. But they still come. They still keep coming over here. Now, if America gets involved on the side of Israel, all right,
which at this point we kind of have to.
Okay, no, we don't have to.
No,
we don't
saying
have to do any of this shit
in their mind.
These elite, disgusting tyrants that we call our government are going to do that.
That's what I'm saying.
We don't have to do that. They're going to do it without our consent. Okay. What do you think is going to happen to all these Hamas terror cells here in the United States? They're going to activate. And that means they're going to blow shit up. You're going to see beheadings. You're going to see stores being suicide bombed. The shit you've seen on TV for the last 40 years in the Middle East is now about to start happening here. You're going to see baseball games blown up. You're going to see football games blown up. You're going to see all that shit because you didn't have the balls to speak the fuck up when you should have spoke up. All right? So it's coming. And that's real shit. And then on top of that, we have a potential war that is 3 fronts, which we do not have the soldiers to fight because they kicked all the actual resistance, the people who resisted the vaccine. What'd they do with them? Oh, they removed them from the military and they installed cross-dressing transgender generals and started running military ads with fucking rainbows in it. All right? So you should really think really hard about what's happening. So what do I think this is? I think this is exactly what I've been saying it's going to be. I think this is the actual beginning of the actual conquering of this country. And y'all could have stopped it by speaking the fuck up a long time ago. So that's what I think. And I think a lot of this shit that's been happening in terms of, I stand with Israel, I stand with Israel, I stand with Israel. Well, over the last 4 years, have you been right or wrong when you stood with mainstream and the politicians said?
Right.
You've been wrong every single time.
Right.
You were wrong about Black Square. You were wrong about Ukraine. You were wrong about the vaccines. You were wrong about COVID. You were fucking wrong every time you stood with them. And now all of a sudden, you're going to stand with them? You understand? Now, I understand these images are heart-wrenching, and I'm not trying to sound callous or that I don't care about innocent people being slaughtered. But this is bigger than Israel and Palestine. This is actually a human species problem. We have an elite group of humans, 2,000 to 3,000 humans, who are so powerful and so rich and so much above us that they are literally killing innocent human beings to place chess with each other. That's what we're dealing with. All right? So when you guys say I stand with or I stand with, understand, you look like a fucking idiot. You don't understand what's going on. You can't explain what's going on. Not a single one of you could explain what I just laid out for you. Not a single one. Okay? And you would look at me and say, well, that doesn't make sense. No shit. But where have I missed? Where have I missed over the last 3 years? I haven't. I missed twice. Once, when I said that I thought that they were going to actually arrest these people before Biden was inaugurated for stealing the election. And secondly, when I said they were going to release the pandemic or start the war before the midterms. But here we are, 14 months out, and I'm looking at a whole bunch of tweets here, all right? And we'll just throw them up here on the screen. I'll read them. Reputable sources have been reporting Hamas terrorists came across the U.S. border and are apparently organizing terror cells planning attacks in major U.S. cities over the next 14 months. This is no accident. It's the disruption to the 2024 election. They need to retain power. Yes. Next tweet. Breaking. Hamas allegedly has terror cells in the United States after entering the country via the southern border. creating a fear of terrorist attacks in big cities over the next 14 months. So if Americans die, this blood is on Joe Biden for the open borders. Americans are going to die, by the way. Next tweet. Stay out of major cities. There's going to be massive terrorist attacks in big cities over the next 14 months. Now, these are all separate people. These are not the same person.
Nope.
Okay?
All verified.
They're all saying the same thing. 14 months, 14 months. We have been infiltrated. Our borders are open, and the push to create a global Islamic caliphate has been activated. You don't want to be in major cities. Stay away. Next tweet. Breaking. Hamas allegedly has terror cells in the United States after entering the country via the southern border, creating a fear of terrorist attacks in big cities over the next 14 months. What's in 14 months? I've been telling you guys this. I've been screaming it. I've come on here every day begging you to share the message so that people would wake the fuck up. And here we are. And this is going to unroll.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to unroll. There will be no stopping this. Okay? This is going to create a three-front world war that could legit result in the conquering of America. We do not have the resources. We do not have the people. We do not have the heart and soul to fight these battles. No Americans are with any of this shit. And our elite, disgusting, old, crusty tyrants who care nothing about you and I are about to fucking get us killed, a whole bunch of us, and our kids killed because they're going to draft them to send your children to go fight these wars. So when you say I stand with this or that, I don't stand with any of that. I stand with us. I stand with these people here. I stand with our own citizens. I stand with the families of the 26,000 people who are murdered in the inner cities every single year, that nobody's standing with Israel or Palestine or Ukraine or any of this other shit even talk about. I stand with the families who have lost people to drug overdoses by the fentanyl crisis coming across the border. I stand with the overtaxed, overworked American citizen who gets their boys and girls drafted to go fight wars for these old people while they are taxed into poverty and their tax money is stolen or squandered or sent to these wars. That's who I stand with. I don't stand with any of this shit. It's fucking wrong. I stand with the United States of America and its citizens. And after that, we can stand with the innocent people of the rest of the world. But I don't want to hear this shit. I stand with whatever unless you're willing to get on a motherfucking airplane and go over there. We have to understand they were losing support. Okay? The most powerful people in the world are losing support. So what did they need to happen? They needed a dramatic, emotional stirring, disgusting event to happen to make people rally behind them again. Mm-hmm. This is very similar to 9/11. Very, very similar, where all of a sudden thousands of Americans die and everybody forgets what actually, was going on in the world and says, let's go fucking get them. Mm-hmm. And then we spent 20 years over there, which made all these people billionaires.
Right.
And cost your fucking brothers and sisters and cousins and friends their entire lives. Okay? This is no different. And we're going to get drug into it again. Yeah. You better resist it. And you better stand up against it. And before you get sucked into the social pressure, stop and think. Why is this happening now? Why all of a sudden is this happening? Why are all these things aligning? This has all been intentionally created by people in our government, including our president of the United States, who has taken money for political decisions from tons and tons and tons of different sources. Okay, these people are bought and paid for, and they are putting us on a silver platter to be served up for their financial gain. And it's disgusting. And that's not what America is about. That's not what this country was founded upon. It's not what we should be about. And I'm not standing for it. Neither should you. Stop being their pawn. Stop doing their work. Stop spreading their messages they want you to spread. When all of Hollywood is speaking up at this point saying, I stand with this, you should fucking stop and question. Why are they doing this? Mm-hmm. It's propaganda, dude. And it's going to end up costing you or your loved ones or your family or your cousins or your friends their fucking lives because you won't stop and think. It's infuriating, dude.
Yeah.
If we don't get smarter and we don't stop this shit of jumping in right away because social media tells us to, we're going to die. And that's you, and that's me, and that's all you motherfuckers listening. And that's real shit. That's what I think.
Yeah.
So when you ask me why I haven't said anything, you know why I haven't said anything? Because I don't agree with any of you guys. And I'm not afraid to say it. I don't agree with any of you. America first, bro. Our people. And that doesn't matter if they're black or they're white or they're Asian or they're Jewish. It doesn't matter to me if they're fucking American. It's America first. That's what I care about.